Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed Orpheus. Orpheus is such a fun villain to watch. And I know he used to be into all sorts of crazy stuff back in the day. And again, I kind of kicked myself because, I was an ABC person. It was ABC or it was nothing at all. And so, and granted, I would have missed a lot of great stuff that happened in GH if I was a Days person, but I don't know. Like I said, him, Xander, being a good person now, I don't know. I feel like I missed out on a lot. Let's just put it that way. I started watching some of this episode on YouTube, and I switched to Peacock. I was like, oh, you know, because I was in the middle of it, and I was like, you know what? Let's just watch the rest of it and be a lot clearer, HD and everything like that. I may have to sit there and deal with those commercials, but whatever. And I turned it on, and it was commercial free. It was commercial free. I was like, all right, I am loving it. I want to start off with Alex and Stephanie, because I feel like there's a PSA within this whole episode. And it's not something that's obvious that just beats you over the head. But there's a fine line between being assertive and being harassing. And I even sit there and use this example as Looney Tunes and Pepe Le Pew. You have kids. As kids, we watched that, and it was funny. As little kids, we didn't really know, like, what I'm saying, like what we know now. We were just not there saying, oh, he's gonna sit there and get her, he's gonna get her, this, that, and the third. You grow up and you look at that now, it's like, what's so funny about that? Like, what's so funny about S harassment? Because that's literally what it is. And it's done in a way where it's like, in other ways, it's basically sitting there telling children that it's just funny. You know, oh, you should sit there and do this. I mean, granted, there's many ways you can interpret it, and that's just one of the ways, normalizing it. And it's not there saying it's okay. And I'm not going to sit there and get on a full rant, but you look at stuff like that, and hell, you even look at stuff like marry your children. As a kid, I loved it. As an adult, listen, that may be one of my favorite sitcoms. But there are certain things that definitely crossed the line. There was things that was just not okay. And, when you look at the whole Alex situation, Stephanie only agreeing to work for Titan under the jest of, I don't want Alex bothering me and harassing me. That really shouldn't be something that you should have to ask. You shouldn't have to ask as far as it being part of your job. As a I don't want to say this as a benefit, but just as I guess as an incentive. You know, you should just work there, and if you don't want to work there, it's because the pay sucks, or I don't know, there's not enough AC or whatever. Not because you're being harassed. And so, even watching her sitting there saying, well, he doesn't take no for an answer. So we're getting to this whole being assertive is one thing, but there's a fine line between that. Now, Alex is sitting there talking to Chanel and Allie. Oh, she's the one. She got away. And, of course, Allie was like, oh, yeah, that's one of my cousins. And Chanel was like, how many people in this town are not your cousin? And she was like, oh, yeah, it's really complicated. I think maybe that's supposed to be some sort of joke as far as just how tangled up these family members and these family member trees are. Our family, the family trees are so entangled. I mean, when you think about it, you got Allie. And Steve is, um, Allie is Steve's niece because she always calls him Uncle Steve or whatever. But at the same time, Trip, Steve is Trip's father. I mean, well, everyone's talking, oh, they're a cute couple, this, that, and the third, and it's like, well, I feel like in some sort of way that just still seems all sorts of wrong. I mean, Stephanie was almost immediately put off because she thought that they were cousins. They're not cousins, but they're a little too close for comfort as far as the family tree goes. Anyway, Alex at some points gets to the job, and Sonny is like, after Alex tells Sonny about, his encounter, and just like how he said, love at first sight, and all this other stuff like that. Sonny was like, at first, he was like, she's not into you. And Alex was like, well, just give her time. I'm like, okay, you're not getting what she's saying. You're not getting what he's saying. He literally says, she's only wants to work here. Oh yeah, because Alex said he was going to quit because of the no dating policy. Um, but Sonny is like, yo, like, she only agreed to work here if you didn't harass her. I'm sitting there thinking Sonny's going to sit there and give. Well, here's the thing. Sonny did sit there and say, as my brother, I want you to sit there and respect her. As your boss, I'm telling you not to harass her. And it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, and Alex just kind of just walks off. And I'm like, here's the thing. I know that Victor at the time gave the job to Sonny, not just because of his history of running it at one point well, but because he was the only person that was going to run Titan. I mean, hell, if Philip came back and he was on his P's and Q's and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure at the while Victor would be like, yeah, I know I said you can have the job, but my son's back, and well, let's be honest, he's a better leader and boss than you are, CEO. So you can, I'm pretty sure they can find you something to do. You can work at the mailroom or whatever. I just don't feel like Sonny is qualified um, to be the CEO there. He only got the position because family, and he was the only person that took the job at the time. But just judging by the way he's handling um, Alex as far as something that can technically get a company shut down. Um, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Just be assertive and sit there and be like, yo, you can't do this, otherwise you have to go. It's just that simple. But he doesn't really enforce it, so it's like he's being stepped over. I'm like, here's the thing. All it takes is one bad fight, and I guarantee you, Alex will sit there and push him out. I guarantee you. Now you got Kate, Abe, Rome. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Kate, Rome, Abe, and Paulina. They're enjoying themselves, having a great time. Orpheus comes in there, and they go back and forth a little bit, and Orpheus told me something that I didn't know about. That Rome killed Orpheus' wife. Apparently, they were partners back in the day. But yeah, killed his wife. I don't know what the circumstances of it surrounding it, so maybe I have to try to do some digging to find out. But the way that Rome seemed like he was just like, yeah, well, you've been using that excuse to sit there and, do your murdering spree for like years or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get that, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but you seem like you have no sort of sympathy, like you didn't even sit there and try to explain it away. Like, yeah, well, it was an accident. I tried to shoot this person. I shot her instead. It was just like, yeah, and you've been using that excuse. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that I need context because right now I can kind of understand where he's coming from. Don't all hate me at once. I didn't actually watch the whole thing, so I'm not. But anyway, Paulina offers to put hands on him, and Orpheus like, yeah, I'm just gonna go. Now, I don't remember how many times he went back and forth because at one point Kayla and Marlena wake up, and Kayla talks about how they're not that far from Salem. I was going to say Port Charles, not that far from Salem. So they figure out a way to get untied. Orpheus comes in there. He's like, oh, guess I was going a little bit too long. So this time he uses handcuffs. Um, when he came back, I think that's when he came back from the, not even from the, yeah, he came back from the pub, but apparently he went through drive-thru. So as he's sitting there, teasing Kayla and everything like that, and he's all like, "Oh, you seem like you're really cranked when you're hungry," and he pulls out a cheeseburger. I don't remember which one of them was like, "Well, how are we supposed to sit there and eat it, with our hands tied behind our back?" Like, yeah, that's a good question. Well, guess you're just gonna have to sit there and kind of just eat vicariously through me. He started eating the cheeseburger, and I'm like, this dude is a dick, and I love like this dude's a dick, and I love him. Just the simple fact that he probably haven't eaten in like hours. He comes in there with a cheeseburger, and he just eats it right in front of him. Let's put it this way: when I don't eat, I'm in a bad mood. Okay, so I can't imagine being tied up, having the aroma of that burger, and knowing that I can't eat it. I feel like that's just torture in itself. So it just made me laugh extra hard, and that's why I was like, "Yo, I love Orpheus." I mean, I know he's a really bad person, like a real villain and everything like that, but something about him. I don't know. If I had to sit there and measure him up against, let's say, Jerry Jacks, I don't know. I like the actor that plays Jerry Jacks, and well, that dude is intimidating if he's Jerry Jacks or if he's Michael Michelson. You know what I'm talking about when I say Michael Michelson, and you get the joke, or you get the little inside joke. But I like Orpheus. This time he's like, you know what? Since y'all got out of those ropes or whatever so tight, I'm gonna get you in handcuffs. And he puts him in handcuffs. Kate decides to go get a cake. Comes to Allie, and at first Allie was like, "Oh yeah, we're out of cakes." And I'm like, I mean that's cool. I get you're mad at him, you're mad at her, but well, Rome didn't do anything. I mean, were you not gonna sell the cake to Rome? So I guess she was actually really out. Um, But when she first said it, I was like, well, damn, what about Rome? Seriously. Anyway, Kate starts to apologize. She does sit there and tell Allie that she turned herself in, pled guilty, community service, and fines and everything like that. And she just starts pouring her heart out. And at first, in the beginning, as much as I don't like Allie, and I think at this point, if you've been watching my channel, you know how much I don't like Allie, I understood where she was coming from. Okay, I understood where she was coming from. So watching Kate pour her heart out, and then Allie being like, all right, yeah, she hugged her and everything like that, and everything was forgiven. In the beginning, I had the same reaction I did with Rome when Rome forgave Kate. At first, I was like, then I was like, you know what? It makes sense. He was already sitting there thinking about it. He was debating it. And Allie does love Kate. You know, yeah, she was angry. And no one could really blame her for being angry. But at the end of the day, the love is still there. The family's still there. Those feelings are still there. So I understood that she forgave her. And I'm actually kind of glad that she did. I'm glad it wasn't one of those situations where it just kind of just dragged on and dragged on and dragged on for way too long until she finally forgave her or something happened to her to make her forgive her. Um, so I was actually okay with that. Oh, and actually, I don't know if I said there was going to be September 1st, moving to Peacock is September 12th. And I'm just hoping that I don't have to wait to 8 o'clock to watch Days. You could just watch it, whenever they put it out, same way they did with Beyond Selling. Because I'm gonna be honest, if they put it out, you can just sit there and watch it whenever. Um, I'm actually gonna be really happy about that. I'm actually gonna kind of be like, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of mad about it, but I get to watch it whenever I want. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. So John and Steve, well, Steve is practically kicking himself, and John is like, you know what? Listen, let's just get a shower, get something to eat, and we'll come back fresh because we're gonna sit there and need fresh minds to sit there and really, find our wives. And I sat there and I was like, I sat there and I was like, this is the first time. Because let's think about this for a minute. Just even on that little thing that you said, how often does the hero go without sleep, go without eating, sit there and try to find their loved ones or whoever? No sleep, no rest, no nothing, no shower or anything. The fact that John was like, you know what, we got to really sit there and eat to be fueled and ready to go. Orpheus himself, he called himself literally a criminal mastermind. Okay, this guy is always a step or two ahead. If you're gonna want to sit there and be Orpheus, you can't sit there and do it on no sleep, no food or anything like that. You gotta be fresh, ready to go. You gotta sit there and be on your A game. Sit there and deal with somebody like Orpheus. So the fact that John was like, let's sit there and get something in our stomachs, let's take a shower, and come back at this fresh. I don't think I've ever actually heard a hero, or yeah, like the hero sit there and try to find the damsel. Well, not the damsel in distress, because Kayla and Marlena, they're not snick their weight. They want to save themselves. But you know what I'm saying. So I thought that was actually really interesting. It may not seem like a lot, but when you watch TV for so long, you watch this stuff for so long, you see something like that that changes a little bit. It's like, that's interesting. Now, Stephanie agreed to take the job. Steve is kicking himself, and Stephanie comes in and even though Steve was like, I'm sorry for yesterday and everything like that, Steve, Stephanie's like, listen, I understand. I get it. You always sit there and try to protect us. You're doing it. What you're doing is an act of love. So, you do it really well. And of course, she really laid it in because it just shows just how guilty um, Steve is feeling. Now, of course, John got called by Abe to come to Rome's party, and at first he didn't want to go. He even lied about Stephen, Kayla and Marlena. But then when Abe was like, Orpheus was there, and John is in a good mood. Roman's in a good mood. He got over there. He started asking a little bit of questions. Of course, he didn't lie about Kayla and Steve and Kayla and Marlena, and about where they were. But at some point, because Ali and Chanel, I guess, finished making the cake or whatever, and they're like, all right, so where's Kate at? Kate was waiting for them to make the cake. Since Ali said she would help. When she got out there, no one was there. Orpheus calls Rome. He's like, yeah, I forgot to wish you a happy birthday. But there's going to be 3 guests that's not going to be attending. I already knew that Orpheus took Kate when Ali and Chanel was looking for her and she wasn't there. So, yeah, Orpheus called Rome and was like, yeah, Kate, Marlena, and Marlena, and Kayla. They're not going to be attending. At this point, Rome knows what's going on. Steve, Kayla, John didn't sit there and tell them. Now, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be a little upset with John and Steve not telling them that Marlena and Kayla was taken. Especially seeing how they got Kate in the mix. Because the Roman's going to sit there and get upset and be like, yo, if you would have told me that Marlena and Kayla was missing, I would have kept a closer eye on Kate. and he's. I think they're both justified in their actions. I think Stephen and John. I can understand why they chose not to tell anyone that their wives are missing, because somebody calls the cops. We all know what's going to wind up happening. But at the same time, Roman's going to be like, if you would have told me that both of your wives got kidnapped, I would have kept a closer eye on Kate. Especially seeing how he just got it back, he just forgave her and everything like that. It's going to be crazy. I feel like that's about it. I feel like that's about it. I really do. I really feel like that's about it. Now I was gonna sit there and watch Glow to Y&R, but I gotta be up early, like really early. So I'm probably just gonna sit there and hit the hay now. But I will sit there and watch Y&R at some point and do a review on Y&R again at some point. Because I do miss the show. When I miss the show and I miss the characters and kind of want to sit there and see what's going on with them. But yeah, I gotta sit there and say today, so far the three of the soaps that I watched did not disappoint me. Days have been killing it, to be honest. So if they have an off day, it sucks. But I know it's not the end of the world. GH, when GH has an off day, I mean, when they have an off day, they really have like I don't even know. I don't even know what to sit there and say about that. It's been a while since I actually did a video on days that last about 20 something minutes. But I really enjoyed this episode, so clearly I had a lot to say. With that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. I want to thank everyone for coming on live Sunday. I know we did a lot of GH talk, but people want to sit there and talk about days. I watch days. I watch GH. I watch BNB, and when I have time, I definitely do sit there and try to watch YNR. So I'm always watching all four of them at some point. I don't know why I'm coughing so much, but like I said, I know we did a lot of GH talk, but I'm always down to sit there and do days because, like I said, days be killing it when GH be kind of slipping. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see everyone in the next video.